Making money on the internet, that's impossible. It's not impossible for everybody. Some people are out there doing it consistently. We've talked before about how individuals occasionally strike it rich, but how do you succeed in making money off the internet consistently? Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle here with Steve Green and Scott Ott, and this is your right angle on the new economy of the internet, which is just beginning to emerge from the traditional industrial era economy that all of us know and love. Because right now, guys, and it's kind of hard to believe, the fact of the matter is you can make a living, and sometimes you can get fairly wealthy just for being famous. You don't have to be famous for anything. You just have to be famous. If you're known, then you can make some money. Steve, let's just talk about this remarkable idea. It's a result of us moving into the information age. When we were kids growing up, there were 3 networks on TV. There was ABC, CBS, and NBC, and you watched Hee-Haw on Sunday night because you didn't want to watch 60 Minutes. Those were your choices. Then we got to 40 channels, then we got to 300 channels. Now there is essentially no channels. People just go to Hulu or Netflix or iTunes or iMovies or whatever and watch what they want. And a lot of people just watching on YouTube. So what happened, Steve, was that once a show like Friends could put 30 million eyeballs in one place, there are no 30 million eyeballs in any one place now. They're all scattered all over the place, and people are making money just a few cents per click, a few cents probably per 1,000 clicks. But if they get 30 million views, they can do something consistently right. Isn't that odd?
Well, it is. Actually, you reminded me of something. I'm going to share a personal story here that is only tangentially related to this, but I love it. And it shows the power the 3 networks had. My Jewish businessman grandfather had this tradition. I mean, he was the very definition of urbane. He was well-dressed. He was witty. He was successful. And every Saturday night before going out to dinner, usually at Al Baker's restaurant back in St. Louis, he would sit down in his bathrobe after his shower before he put a suit on and watch Hee-Haw. He loved that show. And I learned to love it too. And she was gone. So there you go. What's brilliant here is the internet has allowed for the democratization of making money in entertainment. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I don't think any of us would be making videos. And if we were, we certainly wouldn't be making any money on it. I remember the very first time they tried to incorporate YouTube into politics. It was the so-called YouTube debate during the 2008 election. And I actually put up some videos for this thing. This was before even PJTV, and PJTV was a trailblazer. And I learned that with a lot of effort and buying some software and some equipment that I really shouldn't have been spending the money on, and so with a lot of expense and a lot of effort, I could make some really crappy YouTube videos to send up to ABC News or CNN or whoever it was doing this. And a couple of them were kind of funny. There was one I was getting drunk while waiting outside Fred Thompson's bus in Iowa.
I am shocked to hear that.
He was getting drunk inside the bus.
He was, and I miss that man. But in 8 short years, we've gone from this point where in order to get famous on the internet, you had to either have a sex tape or hurt yourself or do something like that, to a point where anybody who is reasonably intelligent and has something to say in an intelligent way can get a message out there and attract an audience. And as long as you know how to target that audience, you can make some money. Maybe not a living, maybe not yet, but we're working on it.
Some people are making a pretty good living. Yeah. Scott, we talked before about individual cases, the girl who was a millionaire at 7 or 8 because everybody liked her style, and some girls are making thousands of dollars just by unwrapping Disney presents and so on. But I'm actually talking about making a survivable business out of it. Now, one of the things that you can do is you can actually collate other people's data, collate their content rather. And one of the most interesting sites that does this is a site called WatchMojo.com. Now, WatchMojo.com will do something like, I don't know, a top 10 list almost every day. Top 10 movies that should have been failures but were successes. Top 10 villains in science fiction movies. Top 10 twist endings that ruined the film. And since they're putting these things out almost every day, they're getting millions of views. Some of them are getting more than that. And they're dealing with movies, so people are interested. And they're constantly doing this. So you don't even have to have your own talent, Scott, do you really? I mean, you can just kind of go out there and just make something interesting.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the old Steve Martin routine from way back. This is the 1970s. And to paraphrase, it's like, you can become famous and wealthy making internet videos. Yes, you can become famous and wealthy making internet videos. Step one, first, become famous. Next,
Get $1 million.
Get $1 million. Yes. It's amazing. It literally is. In the old days, they used to say there's freedom of the press in this country for the man who owns one, and now
Correct.
We all own a TV station. I mean, even if you have nothing but a phone that connects to the internet, a smartphone, you have a broadcast facility. And, we have a little bit more than that here, but you have the ability to get your thoughts and ideas out there. But it just throwing it out there doesn't guarantee an audience. There's got to be something engaging about it. There's got to be something where you can connect with people. Yes, you can collate, you can aggregate. In many ways, our buddy Glenn Reynolds at Instapundit did a text version of this.
That's
where
exactly right.
He essentially gathered everything that was happening out there. And once it started catching steam, people were sending him stuff, say, have you seen this? Have you heard of this? James Toronto does the same thing at Best of the Web today because people send him ideas all the time. And he becomes an aggregator and has been very successful at doing that. But what I love about internet video is that you can be yourself. You can be quirky and unique the way you are, and there's some group of people out there who love you, who want to see you do what you do, or who want to see you fall off of things and get hurt, as Steve earlier suggested. And I think we really have gotten into an era that was unimaginable even to my grandfather, where you can pursue something that is your true joy and find a little group of people out there who not only will enjoy that with you, but who become evangelists for you. And, if you decide that you want to do a membership model, it only takes a few thousand people to provide a nice living for somebody on a membership model. Or you can, if you want to do, advertising through YouTube and stuff like that, you've got to have millions of people coming in. But the world is your oyster now. And if you've got a camera and a connection, go at it.
That's right. The internet is essentially an infinitely large, infinitely flat plane where anybody can get on there, and talent, if lightning strikes, will occasionally win out over time. You can develop your own audience. The three of us started this way as writers, and then we got into doing videos and so on. So look, there are occasional cases where you're just simply hit by lightning. Something you just happen to film gets on the internet and goes huge. Charlie Bit My Finger is a classic clip, and look at the number of hits on that. And of course, Gangnam Style was seen by billions of views, billions. But we're talking again about people that try to make a living doing this, and there are a number of people out there. There's Smarter Every Day, which is terrific. It's just great content. He's got a advertising supporter as well. But Dustin is out there teaching us about what happens, what are the physics of firing a gun underwater, and how does a helicopter auto-rotate. It's a great video. And I think my personal favorite is a group of guys, really just two guys with some guests, who actually have made enough money by the millions of views that they've gotten to develop a pretty sophisticated green screen program, and they shoot on one day, and they have tremendous makeup. They do their own music tracks, and they do the pre-records, and they run it back. And I am talking about these two guys who I think, look, this is some of the stuff is not family oriented in terms of language, but these guys are called Epic Rap Battles of History. And I suppose it probably just started as one idea, but it's like Abraham Lincoln versus Chuck Norris. It's Julius Caesar versus Shaka Zulu. It's
John
Eastern
Maynard Keynes
philosophers
versus Friedrich Hayek.
There you go.
Yep, that was a
Eastern
great one.
philosophers versus Western philosophers. It's Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. It's Lewis and Clark versus
Laverne and Shirley.
The two guys from it's Lewis and Clark versus Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it's absolutely brilliant. The lyrics are brilliant. The structure is brilliant. The music is terrific. And so I thought we'd leave us with just a few seconds of what I think is just some of the best content on the internet. Epic Rap Battles of History. You probably want to watch for language if you're going to show it to your kids, but I think it is simply one of the most clever, well-executed things on the internet. And as people out there trying to make money on the internet ourselves, We can't thank you enough for your support and for your continuing support. And if you're not a member and like to keep these shows coming, we sure would like to have you. Anyway, feast your eyes on these last few minutes, and remember, it's a strange and brave new world out there.
Everybody knows Windows bit off Apple. I triple the profits on a PC. All the people with the power to create use an Apple. And people with jobs use PC. You know, I bet they made this beat on an Apple. Nope, Fruity Loops, PC. You will never, ever catch a virus on an Apple. Well, you can still afford a doctor if you bought a PC. Let's talk about doctors. I've seen a few cause I got a PC. But it wasn't from you, I built a legacy, son. You can never stop it. Now excuse me while I turn heaven a profit. Fine, be like that? Die then! The whole world loves you, but you are my friend! I'm alone now with nothing but power and time! And no one on earth who can challenge my mind! I'm a boss! I own DOS! Your future is my design!